Thank you everyone for joining me on this new YouTube channel. This gives me a license to really tell the entire story and take my time and express all the things from these two great artists from my standpoint. So in my last memorabilia peel through, I discussed that I have two books. That's The Prophet of Color, which is the testament from my grandfather on how the Loper legacy went. And then I have Not My Dad, which is my father's testament to how the Loper legacy went. And it's on this cover that I have something very significant that I want to share with you, and it's the shape of this hand right here. So in this particular painting, my father's not only giving you that perspective, there it is, he puts the hand out, so we have the big hand, little head, all those types of perspectives. It's the shape of that hand again. So my father suffered from type 2 diabetes for 30, possibly 40 years. And with those neuropathies and issues that he had with his limbs and eyes, we had a lot of challenges. And it's the perseverance of my father to push through in so many ways is what I want to discuss about that hand. So being a master craftsman, a man that worked with wood and wires and wax and anything to get his hands on and build. As I mentioned before, my dad's not only an artist, he was a big game hunter, a house builder, a sign maker. He did all kinds of things. And I would always enjoy watching my father work no matter what the material or the medium was. And I used to watch those hands with the hammer. Boom, boom, just getting work done, lifting boards, all kinds of things. Man had shoulders that didn't even fit in the screen. And I noticed that grip start to go. You know, things would turn, things were here, then they got to here, and then it was assisted, then it was here, and then it got to here as those neuropathies and the diabetes really took a toll on his hands. And so that shape, you know, I'd look at a painting like this and I could not get past that shape because it wasn't, again, just a lesson. It was out there, and it was saying, you know, this shape had tremendous significance. And it's something that I think, you know, we don't always look at artwork and think about limitations of an artist. We don't think about those things all the time. And my father struggled with his eyes. There were some days he couldn't see the different colors. There were some days that he couldn't see colors at all. He would just sit there rocking back in his chair, just waiting until, waiting until the eyes were good, and then he'd jump right back on a painting. And you know, when I saw that grip start to go, I was tremendously worried that that could be the end of my father's painting career. And I know my father with these pillars, the ones I mentioned before, you know, big game hunter, house builder, sign builder, all of these things. An artist is a major part of that foundation. And I really can't imagine my father without his art. I mean, it's such a interesting part of his personality and so creative, and all these outlets that I have identified with and feel within myself. So it was something that I was really, you know, quite concerned about. And what I didn't take notice is that how my dad was changing everything about the way he lived. He didn't see it as a limitation. He just kept soldiering through. I'd come over to the house sometimes and he would have moved an enormous cabinet that's a few hundred pounds, and it's like, why did you do that? Why didn't you wait till I got here? Wait, how did you do that? And my dad, being a big fan of the Egyptians, would just say, well, the Egyptians moved big stuff and this, and he'd explain it. And it's like, okay. So, you know, for his safety, I would have liked to have been there. But the fact that he wasn't going to let anything stop him was just, that was it. He was just like a freight train through the day. There was nothing that was going to stop him. And of course, he had to put certain things to the side, you know, working with very small pieces and screws and things like that. So it really made me happy to be able to help him in the later years. And by later years, I'm talking about 65 and over. So needs and wants help anyway. But my father would be the first person to shoo you away so he could do something himself. And that was just a characteristic that I'll never ever forget. And I'm glad that it's floating somewhere in my blood. So, you know, again, when I look at this image, that hand is not just a lesson. It's out there saying, this hand tried to stop me. Diabetes tried to slow me down from doing something that I love doing. And, you know, he just kept moving through it. So it's the significance. It's a shape. It's a warning. It's a trophy. It's whatever it needs to be to someone looking at that work and just says, okay, that hand is telling me something, but the shape of that hand has an enormous story behind it. So again, something that just makes me very proud. And these little details that I can bring to the Loper legacy are so important, because that's not something that my father would discuss with anyone. And it's not something that I would bring up. The idea is to put the art in front of someone and let the eyes go, wow. And then after that, the compliments come in. So, you know, those little struggles and things are not something that my father was going to discuss at all. So it's very fitting that this is my place, that I bring those up, as it impacted my life. I mean, my father's hands really impacted my life, and you know, shaped my care and concern and awareness of diabetes, and you know, how to help him, and just lots of. After that, the compliments come in. So, you know, those little struggles and things are not something that my father was going to discuss at all. So it's very fitting that this is my place, that I bring those up, as it impacted my life. I mean, my father's hands really impacted my life, and you know, shaped my care and concern and awareness of diabetes, and you know, how to help him, and just lots of direction in life that we don't always expect direction to come from. So yeah, these little gems from the Loper legacy. So I understand, actually, while I'm here, that everyone really enjoyed those reveal, the opening, unpacking of paintings. So I have some more. And the story behind these, actually, is these paintings have been wrapped up for a few years. And the last time I wrapped those, they were with my father. He watched and, you know, just was taking part in that. So I've kind of emotionally encapsulated that time frame with some of these images. So now that I have this platform and time again to talk about it, unboxing them will be something that is, I think, very interesting for you and very therapeutic for myself. So lots more from the Loper legacy. Again, thank you for your attention, and I have so much more to share. Thank you so much.